Hello everyone, Derek's Damn Toys, and we are back with another action figure video. Finally, it's been like forever. Well, of course, I've been uploading some stuff with the Fed, and I gotta keep the Fed going, and as you can tell, I'm currently in the middle of the main event for Armageddon, so I am super excited about that. But without too much talking being done here, hopefully I can get through this video roughly quickly, and I only say it like that because we have plenty of figures for Mail Call episode number 4, which is what we're doing here today if I haven't said that already. And with that being stated, I would like to say first and foremost, we are going to be getting into some fix-ups / customs that I've been slowly working on. I know I've shown the progression on 2 of them, I want to say, but the rest of these are somewhat new to everybody. Unless you have me on Instagram, I might have posted some of these on my story throughout the past month and a half, almost 2 months. But with that being said, I would like to show off the fully finished Noam Dar and Nick Aldis customs. Now I might boo swap the Nick Aldis, but in all honesty, I think both of these guys are looking really good. Of course, up close on the Nick Aldis, you can see a little bit of crud from when I had to acetone the logos off the chest, because I did use the the Ministry Bradshaw here for this. So it's Triple H legs, JD knee pads, which is funny because I used the JD body for the Noam Dar custom, and just some random arms. I think they came off of Cena maybe, and random boots. Not too bad, you know, just for a little quick fixer-upper. I like it because I'm not a big fancy painter. I used to like to paint and try to customize that way, but honestly I feel like my paint's pretty damn sloppy. Doesn't really matter though. We got some different kick pads on here. I acetoned the stars from the CM Punk kick pads. I can't remember what Elite Wave it is, but I think they kind of fit the gear a little bit better. It makes it look a little bit more plausible, I guess you could say. And with that being said, there's the update on those 2, and we have 3 more fix-ups here to show off. First and foremost, this is one that a commenter had left on the last mail call. If I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember the exact name off the top of my head, but it was swapping the red arms here onto Ilya Dragunov, and I will say, despite the arms being a little tight on the shoulders here, they do fit quite nice, and it does look pretty damn cool, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, did this in about a month later. They announced the new Ilya Dragunov at Comic-Con. I think that was a week or 2 ago. That's actually kind of great to see, because now if I get the one with the updated tattoo on the chest and throat, that would be super cool, at least in my opinion. But then with 2 kind of random fix-ups, one I might try to shoulder swap to make the arms fit on there a little bit better, or I'll just work on it a bit more. The other one looks really damn good. I'm talking about this Keith Lee here with, what is it, Farouk arms? I can't remember exactly. I want to say they're Farouk arms. The other, what was it? The other guy in the Ministry of Darkness. I don't know why I'm drawing such a blank here. But Farouk arms, if I remember correctly, on the Keith Lee look pretty good, but there's a little bit of a gappage. Gotta fix that gap up, which means I either have to torso crack it, or maybe I just gotta trim down a little bit more on the peg. Either way, it doesn't really matter too much. I'm just hoping it looks good for the Fed, because I want to try to start using the Mattel Keith Lee from here and out. But that doesn't matter too much, because a man with a plan is about to appear double jointed And this is the ringside exclusive Brian Kendrick here, which such a nice figure in all honesty, no matter what you really think about Brian Kendrick. I love the gear. The just simplistic silver and black gear. It looks a little bit complex by design pattern, but honestly it is just super nice. And with the double jointed arms, who knows, maybe Brian Kendrick could come and have a match with Jon Moxley or something like that. You never know. Obviously a reference to what he was supposed to do in AEW before he kind of got canceled, I guess. Even though he's still wrestling on the indies, so I guess he didn't get like super canceled, but he hasn't been on any TV program that I'm aware of, so keep that in mind. But with that being said, from here on out, oh wait, there is actually one more custom I did forget about, and that's just because honestly I kind of wanted to show this off a little bit later on in the video, but to be honest with you, I think it's worthy of showing it off with the customs and fix-ups, and it is a custom Mattel Hangman Adam Page using the Stone Cold Legends body that came with like the baseball jersey look. I can't exactly remember if it was like a t-shirt or if it was like an actual jersey, but got the AEW elbow pad on there, some random like Taker gauntlets, his Target exclusive jacket, I think that's what that one is, and of course I did modify it so the head pops on and off. You can remove the bandana, and he does have the Stone Cold necklace that he came with, because I think the chain on Hangman kind of does look pretty snazzy. But with that being said, we'll hook his bandana there, and we'll set that aside, as now we're going to get into some of the pickups, some of the like online orders that I've gotten throughout the past months. And well, I think first things first, we'll show off a pretty unique women's figure in my opinion, as it's not unique in the formula now, as we've technically gotten 2 prior Ultimate Editions with this new formula. But I did manage to get my hands on this Ultimate Edition Chelsea Green. I do love the gear and stuff like that. I thought I was gonna hate it when it first came out, in all honesty, but the more and more I like look at this and play around with this, the more I enjoy it. Though there is a slight issue with this leg where I actually had to refix the leg, because yeah, it's just terrible. QC issues are annoying, and hopefully we get stuff like that fixed for the near future, because it's kind of sad when I have to use a push pin, plug it into the peg that broke, so then it still attaches to the hip joint, and like you still get movement out of it and all that fun stuff. So it's playable, it's just not preferable in this state, let's just be fair. Maybe you'll get another one down the line, but a good chunk of these figures have been Mattel so far, so why don't we switch it up a little bit, as we do have plenty, and I mean plenty, of AEW figures here to show off as well. Not as many, but we do have plenty. And first things first, I think these guys are worth showing off as well. One of my favorite tag teams in AEW, though I haven't really been watching too much wrestling as of late. It's just between work and dealing with some of the stuff in my personal life, nothing like bad. Just been like busy doing stuff like going and seeing indie events, and actually going out and seeing the new Spider-Man movie that just dropped, the 31st of last month? Super great movie, of course, no spoilers here. But without all the talking, we've got the Outrunners here. I can't remember their names fully off the top of my head, but we've got Truth Magnum, and what's the other guy's name? Oh, Floyd Turbo or something like that, if I remember. Great tag team from what I've seen. They've had some pretty interesting gears One I wish we would actually get in the figure line sometime down the line, but knowing the whole Jazzwares situation, we're still kind of iffy on if they're actually going to be closing or not. And oh, there we go, making a little bit of a mess with these guys. That's okay. Let's try to stand this Keith Lee back up a little bit and hope that doesn't happen again, because I do got to figure out where those weapons were laid out for the matchup here in a little bit. But we've got Turbo and Truth of the Outrunners here. Such great packaging and stuff that came with those figures too, let's just be fair. But with that being said, I'm gonna divvy back into the Mattel side of things, and this one is one that I was pretty excited to get my hands on when I did, and I'm thankful I found them pretty cheap, as this figure, sadly I didn't get it in full, but this figure in full is at least worth like $40 if not $60 plus, which is kind of crazy to think of, but at the same time, it was his first time in the line. We've got the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman here, and well, playing some of the older WWF games, like WWF SmackDown, I think it was Shut Your Mouth or something like that, maybe a little bit earlier on. He was in the game. I enjoyed playing as him a lot, especially just sitting there and doing all the like crazy little things he did, even though he wasn't like super crazy, you know. He wasn't pulling a bunch of like RVD type of moves, but he was doing some like flying kicks and just doing some pretty insane martial arts type stuff. Of course, I do have his like little wooden stick things. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but I did get those, and I got the hands to hold them at least, so I'm happy about that. I don't really need any of the other accessories beyond that, though. The like block of cheese that he would wear on his head, that would have been nice to get, but maybe I'll find it down the line separate and just buy it on its own. That doesn't matter too much, but what does matter is the next figure, because hopefully she doesn't, you know, cause a wreckage like, what was his name? Truth? Yeah, Truth. I'll have to start reading his headband so I know the difference between the two, because like I said, it's been a while since I've watched AEW, but I knew once those figures dropped, I had to try to get my hands on them. But speaking of getting my hands on a figure, might not have been the best figure, but we do have this Stacy Keibler Legends Elite, and it's not a terrible figure in all honesty. You know, you got a little bit of articulation there. The jacket kind of hinders it a bit, but I got this more for the suited look anyways, as you never know, maybe with the introduction of the women's division, we'll introduce a woman's GM for the other brand. You never know. Never know what we're gonna cook up here on DDW, which, speaking of, this main event is gonna be so long, I don't even know what to tell you guys. I'm not saying it's gonna be like an hours long video or something like that, though it could be. We're at least currently sitting at around roughly 25 or 28-ish minutes, so it's at least going to be guaranteed over a half hour. So just keep that in mind, so won't this video probably. But next figure up on the line, this was one I was pretty damn excited to get, and I actually found him in one other figure at this indie event I went to recently. It was Immortal Championship Wrestling in upstate New York. They had Bobby Fish, Cheeseburger, and a few other decent names there. And honestly, great show. Just to say first and foremost, terrific show. And then on top of that, I found these figures there, which of course that happens as I go to say this. But let me grab these figures first, and I'll have to clean that up here in a second. So, where is he? There he is. So with this being stated, of course, we've got 2 Legends figures here. One was actually featured in a Hall of Champions 4-pack, and the other one is a recent Legends figure, and we've got Bruno Sammartino and Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, and well, phenomenal figures, though I do have to fix the stiff leg here on Mr. Perfect. Whew, I can't really speak for the second there. Needed to take a breath, but we also got this Bruno Elite, which I do plan to make into a custom. I don't plan to keep this as a Bruno, though. I mean, as long as I don't modify it too much, we could probably have a mixture of the 2 figures there in one figure, but we'll have to see how that goes once I get it in. As for the next time you'll see that figure in full customization, but this Mr. Perfect is pretty damn cool to have in hand. I do have the cloth singlet, which I don't think I put on him just yet, so hopefully that does look pretty like snazzy. I did get the championship belt too that came with him, so that was pretty nice. And mind you, I copped that for 25 bucks for the 2. The guy gave me a pretty decent deal for some loose figs, and I wasn't gonna say no. Honestly, I had the money. Maybe I shouldn't have spent the money, maybe I should have. You never know what you're gonna find, and you'll never know what you'll regret later if you don't get it in the moment. So that was definitely an in the moment purchase. I've been trying to get my hands on that Bruno Sammartino for a decent price for the longest time, so when he said 25 for the pair, I folded. Let's just say it like that. I had to get it. But enough talking there. Hopefully Keith Lee doesn't decide to take out any more people, let alone Truth Magnum, because I swear to me, if I have to, I will stop the video and like set them up on a pretty nice even base. But the next figures we're gonna get into, I think I'm gonna do another tag team here, as we do have quite a few teams throughout this lot here. We've got the Outrunners, and well, we've got this next duo here, as we've got Connor, we've got Victor, we've got the Ascension with their first and only ever Elite figures here, looking really damn good. I will say I did modify the Victor because he's got the ponytail that is notorious to snapping, so I modified the head to be able to pop it off. I will show that off here in a second, because I did get the entrance gear with these guys, so I might have to work on this head scan a little bit more, because it is not coming off as easy as I hoped, but it did come off. You can see I did modify it a little bit, so I could do that and put the entrance gear on without having to worry about breaking that ponytail. And well, for everything that it's worth, the only thing I had to fix on this was the torso. It would not rotate when I got it in hand, which is probably why I got the pair for roughly around 40 bucks, which was practically just about $20 a piece for the 2, which in full, I want to say these figures do cost more than that just on their own. So to get the pair for roughly about the price of the 1, solid steal. And thank you to my boy Tyler, also known as the Action Figure Universe on Instagram, for throwing that my way, because he found it on eBay and he was like, bro, these would be so cool if you got these for your collection, let alone maybe used them in the Fed. And who knows, maybe we cook something up there. But enough talk. I think it's time for your boy to get a little bouncy, as we do have the young OG. We've got Javon Evans here, first time Elite, and I will say I do love this Elite. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It's got the pin in legs. It poses around like a champ, though I did have to heat treat this, so that's why it does pose around quite well. Though it's not a guarantee for everybody, as my boy, going back to him, Tyler, he did get his in the mail the other day, and he said his poses like a champ. So keep that in mind. Though I also did do a knee pad swap on mine, because I think the thicker knee pads just look a lot better on this figure. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, who knows. It's my collection at the end of the day. If anything though, I would like to see a little bit better head scans here in the future. Maybe one that's a little less goofy or whatever, because it kind of reminds me of the Kofi Kingston head scan from not too long ago, where it was just like smiling and all teeth. And in all fairness, this one doesn't look as bad, but all gum Kingston definitely had to go. I had swapped that figure immediately the moment I could, and I'm sure a lot of you understand why. If I pulled out the head scan right now, you'll definitely know why. But we're not gonna do that. Instead, we're actually going to get into a little bit more of a tag team scenario here, as I think that would be the final team here that we got. And well, that is, oh, I almost showed off the wrong figure. But that is the From the Vault Dudley Boys. I did hand swap Bubba already, and I do think I might hand swap Devon, because I only got the one set of hands with these guys. For the price I paid for them was worth it inherently, all because, let's be honest, these guys fully packed, like they got all their accessories, are expensive even loose out of the box. So happy I picked these guys up for, I think it was like roughly a little over $50 for the pair, which is roughly about what I paid for the Ascension. So not a bad deal at all. I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna put these guys while we fill up this ring, because there is still plenty more to go. And well, speaking of that, I think the next one we're going to get into here is actually a recent pickup and fix-up, because I did make him double jointed. And well, that is one of the best cruiserweights to ever appear in WWE. We've got Akira Tozawa with double jointed sleeved arms here off of a Hurricane Elite. Of course, I'm not going to put the Hurricane Elite in this. I don't feel like you guys care enough to see the fodder as well. Though the first 3 episodes I did do that. But funny enough, they must have been implementing the newer style shoulders roughly around the time this Akira Tozawa came out, because I had to shave no shoulders here. Like the arms just went on smooth as butter, no gap, looking beautiful does this Akira Tozawa. And well, I paid a pretty damn penny for him, so I'm happy that it turned out really, really well. And that's another piece I can slowly add into the Cruiserweight division collection, as we've got a lot of the 205 Live guys slowly but surely. I want to say, yeah, I do. I have Rich Swann over in this side of the camera and my crowd. Maybe I'll do a fix-up on him in the future. You never know. I just know the Cruiserweight Classic era of wrestling was quite a time to be alive. But also, speaking of quite a time to be alive, I know this isn't exactly this kind of era, but we also have the crazy time of Pillman's Got a Gun here in his 4 Horsemen gear. I do love this figure, I can't lie. A little stiff in the legs, but I think I could get over that as long as I take the time to heat treat them here soon. A few of these figures, really, I do have to take the time to heat treat them a little bit. I just haven't. But he's got the pinless legs, which actually aren't as stiff as you would anticipate. Recent Legends Elite, I got them for roughly around the same price I did the Steve Blackman. And honestly, this figure is pretty damn solid. I might get another one, to be honest with you, because I feel like as long as the skin tones match, his son could probably wear the gear that he's wearing right now with this torso, and the figure would probably look so damn decent. But we'll have to see that if I do eventually do that, is I do have the Lexus King figure, so you never know. Maybe we might make a custom Brian Pillman Jr. body and have him team up with his dad here in the Fed. Never know what I'm gonna do with these crazy times in the Fed, especially once you see this main event, because oh man, all I can say is it gets a little bloody, it gets a little epic. And speaking of epic, I think the next figure we're gonna get into is another Akira Tozawa case, as I do have the original scan for it and I'll show it off here. But I kind of made a more modern day, well, not wearing chainmail of course. Ooh, I just flew that head into the crowd. But I made a more modern Triple H here with the double jointed arms from his Legends Elite, which was a re-release of another figure, I want to say. But double jointed Triple H up in here. Might find some like knee braces or something to put on the one leg, because I feel like that would be a nice little touch there. But I gave him another wrist tape hand, even if it is a little off. And we do have the original head scan, which looks really solid. Honestly, I might take the time and put that on my purple gear trips that I have on display. Yeah, not the same time period, but honestly, Triple H with facial hair is always the best Triple H. Whether it's this beard and he's bald, or whether he's got long hair and, you know, the, like, maybe even the mutton chops. I would love to get those head scans, even if it was just the head scans. But that was a nice little fix-up for the Fed if I ever do want to use them, because just to show it off, I did this a while back, and you can see this in the Legends Night Battle Royal. I haven't even taken the elbow pad off from that time frame. We've got Bald Michaels here, and I think this was the SummerSlam gear he fought Hogan in. I'm not too sure though, but he's not a part of this video, so get out of here, Bald Michaels. We do have a little bit more left to go. Nothing too bad though. I will say a lot of this stuff is more modern-ish releases, except for a few of them, or at least one. And that one I'll show off now actually while I am thinking about it. He is another guy from the Cruiserweight Classic era. Sadly, I couldn't upgrade him because I did try. But we've got Drake Maverick here. And I know he wasn't inherently on the Cruiserweight division, but I want to say he did like do a couple of Cruiserweight division matches, if I recall correctly. Of course, based off of his 24/7 championship run. Love the gear. Wish we got a little bit more done with this guy, because just like EC3, Rockstar Spud only ever got the one figure in WWE, or as he's known in WWE, Drake Maverick. For those of you who know, you know. I don't think I gotta explain his TNA career to you guys, do I? But I think with that being said, as the Mattel figures are finally dwindling down, we do have a nice handful of AEW figures here, but we do have one unique one, which I think I'm going to try to show that one off more towards the end as we get into the final moments of this video. But with the final woman's figure here that I got, we have from the most recent Unmatched wave, the more upgraded Chris Statlander here with the double knee brace look and everything, looking pretty spiffy. Of course, I got this full, like all the hands, all the jacket stuff. We got everything here in full for the most part, except for like what I mentioned, like these guys, the Steve Blackman. Actually, I didn't get the belt with Bruno, so I guess there's that. But I also didn't get the Build-A-Figure part with him. Whoop-de-doo, oh well. But we got this Chris Statlander here, looking really nice. A little bit of a schmud here on the leg, but nothing too like big to cry home about. If anything, it's going to be more worth crying home about if she doesn't manage to stand here. Which I say it like that because she did a pretty decent job standing on my shelf for the longest time. So hopefully she'll stand there. And speaking of another stand, we've got one of my favorite figures that AEW recently put out. I might be a little iffy on the head scan though. I don't hate it. I'll say it like that. But we've got the more updated Hook here and the blue shorts and all the updated tattoos and stuff that we could get. I love this gear, to be honest with you. It is a really nice solid gear. We've got some of the newer tattoos that I don't think he had on his other figures. I would have to check. But really solid figure here, and the Hook figure for his potential last time in the line, which sad if it's true, but in all honesty, AEW could probably find another figure company to do these figures up and do them just as well as Jazzwares does, which Jazzwares has, you know, they have their own fault, but they've made some bangers in the past as well. And speaking of a banger, this one you could say is a 2-for-1 because he did get the chase of that wave. We've got the Proto Star himself, Kyle Fletcher, and we got both gears here, his white gear and his black gear. Wish we got a gear that would have featured the tattoo like this on this side, because it is kind of weird having him with no tattoos and then this one has tattoos, so it's whatever. But I guess if you really wanted to, it probably wouldn't be too difficult to just swap the forearms out on this guy, and you can rock that look that way, but have fun finding them cheap enough to want to do that. But we've got both of the Kyle Fletchers here. Hopefully these guys stand. I haven't played around with them too much. Actually, I'm thinking about maybe putting the white gear on display and then using the black gear for the Fed, just in case we don't get Kyle Fletcher in any other gear like his more modern day bald look. I will say though, it is at least kind of cool to see one in the Don Callis armband, so take that as you will. But we've got the Proto Star, Kyle Fletcher, and well, let's just be fair, to complete the wave, we did get the Kenny Omega from that wave, which I hate the torso, like the color of it in the head scan, honestly. Like, the head scan's not too terrible, I guess. I just think it looks so cartoony and his cheeks look super fat. But the gear itself is pretty damn sick. I love the green and gold and stuff like that. I don't know what it may be a reference to, but in all honesty, it doesn't even matter. This just orange and green and gold, it pops really well together, despite me thinking I would honestly hate it, and I just practically picked it up for a secondary gear that Kenny Omega could wear in the Fed. And well, you never know, he might wear it in the Fed soon. As you can see, I do have that Kenny Omega over here off in the distance with the Supreme Torso on it. So with that being said though, we don't have any more AEW figures left to show off. The rest are Mattel except for the one unique one. And well, before we get into the rest of that, I can't lie, I do gotta take a nice little sip of me soda, so sorry for the ASMR here, I guess. But with that being said, I think we're gonna show off this one figure that I do love, but I did have to fix it up a little bit because I didn't care for the head scan too much. And well, I seen this custom idea online. I can't remember exactly who did it, so bravo to the guy. If he does see this, thank you for this idea. We've got the big dog Roman Reigns and the white gear from Mania. But he's got a big dog vest here, and he's got the head scan off of one of his, I want to say it's one of the red gears, like with the red gauntlet and stuff, from not too long ago. Looking really spiffy. I think the basic gauntlets would look a lot better on this Roman, to be fair. But in all honesty, I think for this kind of specific look here, with the like removable vest and stuff, it looks really sick. And I do plan to use this in the Fed potentially, so you never know. We've got big dog Roman Reigns potentially coming to the Fed with the Shield, kind of hitting the semi-potential singles era of the Shield. As if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it after this video. Go watch it. We've got the Shield versus Umaga and William Regal. Maybe they lost the tag champions, the Shield did. I don't know. You'll just have to go and watch it. But enough big dog talk. I think we've got to talk about an underdog. And well, for the most part, he's not exactly an underdog too much anymore, because they don't always push him the way they probably should, at least in my honest and fair opinion. But this figure is honestly pretty damn phenomenal for what it's worth. I do gotta fix the leg up on it though. But we've got Sami Zayn here and the Saturday night's main event tights, if I remember correctly, from when he teamed up with Punk. Hence why he's got the stars on the crotch piece there. Figure is pretty damn nice though. Knees are a little stiff here, and this leg doesn't like to kick forward unless you force it. So I do gotta hit this with a little bit of hot water treatment. Maybe this weekend, whatever figures I need to do that with, I'll get that done. But for right now, that Sammy has a bit of D'Lo Brown syndrome, as I personally like to call it, because that was the first ever figure I dealt with the like stiff leg issue on. And that was back when the pine cone joints, or as I like to call them, the ratchet joints, were a thing. So the fact that we kind of deal with that with most of the modern figures, if not all of them, because I haven't ran into one that uses the old ratchet joints. They're all on ball joints now. So that issue being an issue in the first place is kind of weird. But speaking of a figure that I kind of had issues with, I did fix it. But we've got the Red Pentagon Jr., or as he's just known as Penta now. And well, you may not inherently see what the issue is, but I want to say it was this boot had a ginormous gap in it. Now it's actually quite nice, just a little bit of a gap. And I think this other leg had a bit of a gap too, though I might be wrong. The Red Penta is pretty nice at the end of the day. I love the way they sculpted everything. He poses around quite well. If anything, the knees were a little stiff out of the gate, but after heat treating the boot, he kind of loosened up a bit anyway. And well, who knows, might have to pick up the Rey Fenix and use the Death Triangle all in elite form. But with that being said, one of my favorite elites out of this batch here, I think will fit just fine over here behind Triple H. And we still have more to go, god dang it, as we have 4 more figures, if I recall correctly. At least 4. And yeah, it's just 4. But with that all being said, let me move them up a little bit over here, and we will get into my second favorite figure of this whole like little pickup slash fix up video, whatever you want to call it, mail call episode number 4. We've got the gray shorts John Cena here with the blue gear from the 3-pack of John Cena's. It was the only figure out of that 3-pack I really wanted, and honestly I am happy I finally managed to get it, as I think this may be the John Cena gear you see from here on out in the Fed, at least for a little while. You never know. Maybe I'll have John Cena go on a retirement tour, but until then, it don't make sense to have him in a retirement tour gear. Not that I own any of the Last Time Is Now gears, so maybe one day. Technically, once the Ultimate Edition Mattel Creations like Last Match Cena hits, I'll have one, because I did pre-order that forever ago. Hopefully that hits soon, and hopefully the Punk Life CM Punk hits soon, because I do have both of those on the pre-order, or whatever you want to call it. But enough talk there. We're down to the final 3 figures, and well, the first out of these 3 is the Nathan Frazier Elite. Now I do have Axiom. I've got Nathan Frazier. Who knows, maybe we'll see Fraxium come into the Fed as a tag team, though their gears don't match. It's whatever. This figure does pose around quite well. I did have to heat treat it a bit because the knees are a bit stiff out the gate, but he does pose like a champ. He can hit a Phoenix Splash. He can hit a super kick. The legs might be a little stiff still, but honestly, they're not as bad as they were out of the package. So keep that in mind, of course, with modern day Mattel figures. You might have to heat treat them, and I did make a video for that, so sorry I keep hitting the tripod as well in the middle of this. I'm trying to get it to sit in a spot where you can see all the figures without zooming in and out on the camera itself. But getting down to the last 2 figures here, this one I'm not as mad about as I originally thought I was going to be, though I am a little disappointed. And that's more or less just my copy, because the seller I bought them from, he was selling them loose, but he didn't proceed to maybe message me and be like, hey, the one I was gonna send you has this little scuff mark on it, would you like a different one or whatnot? Not that he's ever done that, but just buyer's courtesy for how expensive these figures are. We've got the new Bronson Reed, and he's got this nasty cut on his calf muscle down here, so I don't know if I might buy a new one just to have a better version, I guess. I want to say there's another Elite that has all the tattoos from this leg, but of course not on pin legs anymore, so he's gonna have a whole leg swap, and I want to say that means I would have to keep this leg on here and also then potentially have a pin in leg here, which would just look ugly, let's be honest. But we've got the new Bronson Reed. Poses quite well, despite that little nasty mark there. And well, let's be fair, if I can make this work, I can make this work. I might just have to reorganize some figures a little bit. But to get into my absolute favorite figure of this pickup, if you did watch the cage match that I recently uploaded not long ago, you may have gotten a sneak preview of this man in the Fed already. But we've got El Toro Blanco, we've got Roosh in the house, we've got his Legends of Lucha Libre figure here. I almost said his MLW figure, of course, made by Boss Fight Studio, so they are on similar articulation as the Mad Kruger and the Alexander Hammerstone that I own. But I will say the kneecaps here are a little sussy, because they do just kind of pop off if you bend them too far forward, as they are their own separate piece, which is kind of odd. I had to ask somebody else I knew who owned this figure and be like, hey, did that happen to you too? Because it threw me off so much. And I actually had a little scare when it came to the ankles, as I want to say one of the boots, the foot itself, popped off. So be a little careful, I guess, as you're posing this. Thankfully the foot did pop back on, but it's just one of those things where it's a super expensive figure, so I can only imagine breaking what was it, $50 plus on yourself, so that would be terrible. But with all that being said and everything being noticed, we've got the full figures of the bunch here, and this is everything I have managed to get my hands on since the last video for Mail Call, which was episode 3. And let's just be fair, of course I did order a couple of things. Excuse me. I did order a couple of things that will be here roughly like within the week or next week, that will be seen in episode 5. But that being said, I had to get this video done and get this video out for the sickos of DDW, the fans. Love every comment, everybody who likes the videos and stuff like that. You guys keep these videos thriving, keep these videos going. It's guys like you that eventually bring new people to the channel too. And speaking of that, when we get into the outro, we of course got to see how many subscribers we're at since the last time. I don't think it's too many, but we did go up a little bit. And yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video for what it's worth. We got so many things to look forward to here in the Fed, and or potentially just for my own personal collection here, as of course not everything here is going to be used in the Fed. Maybe not, maybe so. You never know. I could just stop doing the Fed tomorrow, which wouldn't make any sense. But with that all being said, I am going to get this wrapped up and get out of here. So if you guys did like the video, feel free to like the video. And if you guys did not, well, womp womp, I guess. But if you guys did like the video and you guys could and or would, feel free to go out of your way and check out some of my other videos here as well. In all honesty, I'm pretty excited for what's going to be coming out here in the future. First and foremost, getting a nice good look here. You know, we've got recent Fed uploads. We've got the cage match I was telling y'all about. We've got the tag match I was telling y'all about. The triple threat match that John Cena was featured in. If you guys haven't watched those matches yet, I don't want to spoil too much for you. But we've got so much action here as far as the Pick Fed goes. And you never know, maybe if you guys say something, I would love to start doing action figure reviews again. I think I'm finally ready after the few episodes of Mail Call. It's been quite a while since I actually did a figure review. The last things I reviewed was actually my customs I got from KCB Heights 2 on Instagram. If you're looking for any sort of customs, highly recommend, as he hand paints everything and he does a killer job at what he does, in all fairness. And well, that's why I made that commercial for him, believe it or not, because I just really loved his work that much. I felt he deserved his own little advertisement video, and I tried to make it as nice as I could, a little corny and stuff, you know, but it's supposed to feel like one of those weird little like infomercials you would have seen in the early 2000s. But enough talk there. All I can say is thank you guys for watching the video and, you know, just keeping up with everything past and present. And with everything being said, we are currently at 553 subscribers. I almost said 55. We're not quite there yet, but we're close. We got 553 subscribers. So before we head out of here, if you guys could, feel free to hit, I don't know, maybe an attitude adjustment on the like button. Maybe hit a tombstone pile driver on the subscribe button. I know I promoted the liking anyways. I don't know. Either way, it would be a great help if you guys do hit the subscribe button and keep the channel flowing up and up and up, because the more popular the channel gets, the more eyes that come around on it, and just overall the more of a reputation the Fed can get and stuff like that is, I can't say I'm super well known, of course, especially at 500 subs. I feel like that's typically small compared to like YouTube of nowadays. Maybe back in like when I was in high school, this would have been a phenomenal number to be at, and realistically it still is in my opinion. But most people would probably view me as a smaller channel, which is fine. I don't really care about that. But what I do care about, getting the reputation out there, getting more fedders on my Fed, getting them more, I guess you could say, adjusted to me being in the community more. As after all, it's only been about 3 years since I started doing the pick feds. So the fact that a lot of the feds that do currently watch me right now do, and they hype me up and they leave comments and stuff like that, it's amazing. I do appreciate it very, very much so. And just, you know, just to show some of them, we've got a few feds here, and this is HCW and Honor Cruiserweight. This is one of my buddies who I talk to a lot on Instagram, so I highly appreciate when he actually does check out the stuff on YouTube and leaves the comments and stuff, because when he does, I know the video is good. When my boy WCPW, whether he does a lot of commenting nowadays like he used to, when he checks out my stuff, I appreciate it. I appreciate seeing a lot of these fedders actually like gather around some of these smaller channels, leaving comments on it, and I try to do the same myself on Instagram and on here, though I don't always have the time to watch pick feds because, you know, I work. But I guess with that being said, why don't we head out of here before I ramble on too much and make this an hour-long video. So at the end of the day, have a good rest of your day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I don't know what time you're watching this. Of course, I'm not in your time zone, let alone the fact that this could be an hour from now or whatnot. But whatever the case may be, I appreciate you guys and everything being said there. But God damn, I can't seem to wrap this up. I kind of forgot how my outro goes, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I guess with that being said, deuces, ooses, yeet, or whatever the hell I want to do. I don't know. I'm kind of getting over doing the yeet thing. So I guess we can try something new. Deuces, ooses, wada bang, or whatever Enzo used to say.